guys, welcome to the channel. This is Flowblade talking, and today we're going to be talking about a loadout that's kind of a follow-up to my American loadout. So I made an American loadout video recently. If you liked that video, you're going to like this one. It was just kind of to give you an idea of a cool American loadout, and this is a sequel to that. This is going to be a cool Russian loadout. So go down to your AK-47, and you're going to want to put the monolithic suppressor on it. It gives you sound suppression and damage range, both of which are super important. Sound suppression is going to keep you off the map. Damage range is going to give you a few feet of extra damage. The damage range on this weapon is already good, so that's going to make it fantastic. You're going to want the 23-inch Romanian barrel. It's going to give you more damage range, and it's going to give you recoil control. Recoil control is super important on this weapon, because this weapon has kind of high recoil. So this helps control that, helps keep it down a bit, and it's also going to give you bullet velocity, which I feel is important for this weapon, because bullet velocity on this weapon doesn't seem that amazing, and this kind of brings it up to a good level. You're going to want to run tac laser. With all the attachments on you're going to put on this weapon for recoil control and stuff like that, you're going to need the tac laser to keep your aim down sight speed nice and competitive. The aiming stability and aim walking steadiness are not really that important. You're going to want to run the 40 round mags. You could run the 75 round drum mag, but I find that to be a bit much. It reduces your aim down sight speed and movement speed too much. And you're going to want to run rubberized grip tape to give you just a little bit more recoil control. If you don't want to run rubberized grip tape, you could run either an optic, or you could run the stipple grip tape to give you a little bit more aim down sight speed. This weapon is really good. It's going to be excellent in medium range encounters. It's going to lack a little bit in close range encounters because the slow rate of fire makes it very difficult. It's not very forgiving if you miss a single shot. If you don't miss your shots at close range, you'll be fine, but chances are you're going to miss one shot. In long range encounters, if you can control the recoil, this thing is absolutely fantastic. It has a huge damage range, it has huge damage in general, and it's just a great weapon, but you have to be able to control that recoil. The AK-47 overall is one of the coolest weapons out there. It has so many variants, and it is the most Russian assault rifle I can think of. This is one of the most outstanding weapons ever made, and it continues on every day. This weapon has so many current day variants that are really close to the way it is, and one of the reasons this weapon was so popular is because it can be put in the harshest environments and still fire. You can dip this thing in a puddle of mud, and I'm not talking about just, you know, muddy water. You can put it in mud, and this thing will still fire, and that's one of the things that makes it so cool. For your secondary, you're going to want to run the AS Val. You're going to want to put the VLK 200mm OSA. It's going to give you damage range and bullet velocity. The bullet velocity on this weapon is not that great, but it's not going to impact you very much because this is going to be a close range weapon. At close range, bullet velocity doesn't matter at all, really. It's going to give you damage range as well. The 5mm laser, because this weapon, like I said, is going to be your close range alternative, and this is going to be basically an SMG. This weapon acts like an SMG. You treat it like an SMG most of the time. So the 5mm laser is going to give you hip fire accuracy and sprint to fire speed, which is going to be great for rushing, which is what mostly that's what this weapon is going to mostly be for, is for rushing in after you've weakened somebody up with a Semtex or fire or taking their attention away, or if you're just going to rush in a building. You're going to want to put the VLK Strelok. The recoil control on this weapon isn't really bad per se, but it's very awkward. So I like to just go ahead and get rid of it. And the 30 round mags. That's the one thing on this entire loadout that I am going to tell you is necessary in Warzone. You can't really make do with the 20 round mags. This weapon has a blaringly fast fire rate. It's super fast. It just blazes out. So you're going to want these 30 round mags just to give yourself a little bit. This weapon is only going to really be able to take out like 2 people effectively in Warzone, unless they're already weakened up. So like if you got 2 people with full plates, you're only going to be able to take out those 2 people, and then you're going to have to reload. And then you're going to want the Merc foregrip. It gives you recoil control, because like I said, the recoil is kind of hard to control on this weapon because it's kind of awkward, and it's going to give you hip fire accuracy, which is going to be better for this SMG type build. This weapon is absolutely great for close range encounters. It's kind of like a Fennec, but without as much ammo. So you don't get that 75 round drum, but It's better than the Fennec in some ways because you have it's already silenced, and you can add another attachment of damage range or whatever you want to it instead of silencing it. If you don't want to use this loadout and you want to use a different Russian loadout, you could change out the AS Val for a Bison. However, I find that the Bison is kind of a marshmallow shooter. It has a bunch of ammo, and it has okay damage, but it has a very slow fire rate for a SMG, so it's not going to be super great. The Bison works, don't get me wrong, but I think the AS Val is much better. It's much more offensive. It's just, in my opinion, it's better. If you don't want to run the AK-47, which if I was going to say which one I would switch out if I were you guys for a different Russian weapon, I would say switch out the AK-47. I absolutely love the AK-47. It's the first weapon I ever got gold, but if you're going to switch something out, I think the AS Val is too valuable. Valuable. AK-47, you could switch it out for the PKM. The PKM is an LMG, and it's a fantastic weapon choice. However, I find that it doesn't pack as much punch as the AK-47. So if you can control your shots, the AK-47 is going to be better. If you like an easier to use weapon, probably go with the PKM. But I recommend this loadout, especially if you're going for the Russian theme, because the AK-47 is by far the most Russian assault rifle out there, and the AS Val is, in my opinion, the best close-range Russian weapon in the game. So for perks, you're going to want to run EOD. I find that all the others in this slot are useless. Cold-blooded is pretty much not used at all because there's not a lot of thermals out there unless you're playing night mode. Double time is pretty much easily outweighed by EOD plus slide canceling, so if you know how to slide cancel, you can do that, and you'd have basically the same effect as double time. You're not going to be quite as fast, but you're also going to have EOD to make up for it. I don't run Overkill, I run Ghost. I just have Overkill on there to show you guys both weapons at the same time. Ghost is my favorite perk in the game. It keeps you off the radar, keeps you off of heartbeat sensors, and it keeps you off of basically everything. It's going to be fantastic to use, and I run it on my first loadout. If you're not going to run it on your first loadout, run Overkill, then grab it on your second loadout. So for your third one, run Amped and Shrapnel or Shrapnel. It doesn't really matter which. I run Amped. I like being able to switch fast on this loadout because you're going to run out of ammo on that AS Val. You're going to want to switch to your AK-47 to finish somebody off, or the other way around. Doesn't really matter. Either way, you're going to need that swap speed. But the thing is, Shrapnel outweighs that in some ways by having, not outweighs, it equals that in some ways by having a second lethal. So if you're like running Semtex and you want to clear out a room, it's a lot easier to clear out a room with 2 Semtex than it is 1. You could even run Battle Hardened, but I prefer these 2. For your lethal, Semtex is what I run, but you could run Thermite, Prox Mine, C4, Frag Grenade. They're all really good, but I think Semtex is the best, in my opinion, because it's just, it stays where you put it, and it does a bunch of damage. It's not very good for vehicles, but you have rocket launchers and stuff for that anyway when you run Ghost. Heartbeat sensor is what I run. You could run the stun grenade if you're more of an offensive player. I'm more of a defensive player. I like to hang back and figure out what I'm gonna do before I go blazing in. So a stun grenade is definitely better if you're the kind of person that likes to rush. I'm more of an assault rifle and sniper kind of guy, but if you're more of a SMG and assault rifle or shotgun and assault rifle, you could run stun grenade even with but the thing is, heartbeat sensor gives you an advantage in those rushing times too, because you know where exactly they are and you can rush straight to them instead of having to actually look for them. It just depends on what you like to do. So that's this loadout. It's a really cool loadout. I like using it a lot, even besides it just being Russian. I find it to be very useful. The AK-47 is extremely quick to kill with, and the AS Val is incredibly quick to kill with at close range. I named it the Get Your Teeth loadout because the Russian team leader in multiplayer sometimes at the beginning of the match will say, "Get your teeth out, it's time to hunt." And that's what I've dedicated this video to. I really enjoy running this loadout. If you like this video, please comment, tell me what you want to see, tell me what you guys want to change. If you have any ideas for other loadouts from different countries or other loadouts that are just specific to something, like if you want to give me a hunting loadout or just some kind of cool loadout, tell me about it. If you want to give me any loadout that you use, it doesn't matter. Just tell me about it, and I will do my best to show you guys that loadout. Please comment. Tell me what you guys think. Please hit the bell notification. It'll help you see my videos when they come out instead of you having to look for them. And you know, obviously, please subscribe. I'm a new channel. I could really use the subscriptions, and I also could use the views from people. And when you subscribe, it helps get me further out there. It helps YouTube recognizes me more. Thank you for watching. Remember to have fun playing the game. Load up, frag out. And if you feel like it, get your teeth out. It's time to hunt.